Welcome to English Today with Sir V. Series 1. Series 1 is a collection of exemplar lessons based from the most essential learning competencies in Grade 8 English, Quarter 3 in particular. In addition to propaganda devices that you have learned previously, bias is another technique that can affect your ability to analyze a reading material. This is the focus of this lesson. To begin, let's see how well you know your target concept and skill by reading 2 sample paragraphs. After that, we will answer some questions about the paragraphs. If you're ready, let's begin. Paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. What have you noticed with the 2 paragraphs? The 2 paragraphs are exactly alike. They contain both verifiable facts and opinion. What facts are presented? The facts presented are the following. Number 1, red fruit. Number 2, they help fight disease. And last, studies show that people who eat tomatoes, and lots of them, lower the risk of cancer because tomatoes contain lycopene, a powerful antioxidant. What opinions are used? The opinions used are the following. Number 1, eating tomatoes is one of the best things you can do. Number 2, beautiful. And last, not only thrill your taste buds and brighten your plate. What difference is evident? The difference comes with the purpose of each writer. What is the purpose of the writer in paragraph 1? The tomato farmer is trying to persuade people to buy a product in order to increase profits. Meanwhile, what is the purpose of the writer in paragraph 2? The doctor of medicine makes tomatoes seem more attractive so that his patients will be convinced to eat them for their own sake and not for his. Having known the purpose of each writer, are they reliable or biased? The tomato farmer and the doctor are both biased, but the bias is perceived differently. How is bias perceived then? The information provided by the doctor of medicine has more weight and value and presents less bias than that of the tomato farmer. Clearly, from this activity, you have realized that it really is important for you to be able to detect bias in any information that you read, because it can help you determine whether a writer is reliable or biased, and for you to be able to understand the purpose of the text. Now, to ensure better understanding of your target concepts and skill, Let us now learn what bias is about, how it is created, and in what way we can detect bias made by an author. Bias is any opinion in favor of or against someone or something. Others call bias as favoritism, prejudice, discrimination, or partisanship. A person's bias is directly revealed when he uses expressions like, "I support that," or "I oppose that." Meanwhile, an author's bias is any opinion that affects the author's writing and prevents the author from being completely neutral about the topic or issue which he or she is writing. Remember, an author can be biased against someone or something, or has a bias for someone or something. A writer has bias for something if he or she tends to write positively about it. On the other hand, a writer is biased against something if he or she tends to write negatively of it. Remember also that writers do not necessarily write to misinform, but they usually write to express ideas based on their beliefs and value system. This means that everyone in the world is biased. For instance, newspaper editorials or political speeches are always biased. Therefore, as a reader, you need to be able to spot or detect bias in any information that you read or listen to. So how can you detect the bias made by an author? The author may be biased if you notice the following. Number 1, the author is heavily opinionated or one-sided. Number 2, the author relies on unsupported or unsubstantiated claims. Number 3, the author pretends to present facts but offers only opinions. Number 4, the author uses extreme or inappropriate language. Number 5, the author tries to persuade, endorse, promote, market, sell, or entertain in disguise. And number 6, the author is unidentifiable, lacks expertise, or writes on unrelated topics. Since much of what you read is a combination of facts and opinion, it is therefore important that you need to examine and evaluate the text carefully for you to be able to determine if the author is reliable or biased. This time, let's understand your target concept and skill better with an example. Here, you are going to read and examine a sample paragraph by answering the given questions. If you're ready, let's begin. Who do you think is the author of the paragraph? The author of the paragraph is anonymous or unknown. Looking at the words in the paragraph, what do you know about the author? The author seems to be a student. What words in the paragraph suggest that the author may be a student? The word school, uniforms, I, our, we, us, learning, and studies all suggest that the author may be a student. What issue is presented in the paragraph? The issue presented is parents always talk about how if school had uniforms, everything would be so much easier. You wouldn't get caught up on looks and would learn the skills you need. Is the author for or against the issue? The author is against the issue on school uniforms. What evidence in the paragraph suggests that? The author uses the expression, "I disagree with this." What is the author's opinion on the issue? The author argues that school uniforms would put a restriction on their creativity. The author continues to say that if they all wear the same thing, they don't get really see what people are like on the inside. In the end, the author explains that clothes don't distract them from learning the studies they need to. It simply lets them inspire their imagination and lights up their worlds. Looking at the opinions, what is the prevailing tone? Is it positive or negative? The prevailing tone of the opinions is negative. What evidence in the paragraph suggests that? We know that the prevailing tone of the opinions is negative because the author uses words like restriction, don't get really see, and don't distract us. Does the author use facts to support his opinions? Definitely, yes. What facts are provided by the author? The facts provided by the author are the following. First, clothes give us expression and the ability to use color and patterns. Second, the first impression we get of people is usually clothes, facial expression, and language. Third one, usually girly girls wear pink and frilly things. And last, skaters wear baggy pants and goths usually wear black. Looking at the facts and opinions, is the author biased? Definitely, the author is biased. What bias is made by the author? The author is biased against school uniforms. Finally, how biased is the author? Less biased or highly biased? The author is less biased, but much of the paragraph is based on strong opinions. The opinions seem to be based on the personal experience of the author with some thoughtful cause and effect logic. Let's analyze another paragraph. Who do you think is the author of the paragraph? The author of the paragraph is Johnson. Looking at the words in the paragraph, what do you know about Johnson? Johnson seems to be a medical health professional who conducted a research in 2005. What evidence suggests that? Johnson uses words like medical, Serie, cancer, chemotherapy, AIDS patients, intraocular, glaucoma, spasticity, neurological, and prescription. What issue is presented in the paragraph? The issue presented in the paragraph is the legalization of marijuana. Is the author for or against the issue? The author is in favor of the issue. What evidence in the paragraph suggests that? The writer writes, legalization of marijuana should be pushed. What is the author's opinion on the issue? The author asserts that legalization of marijuana should be pushed for the following reasons. First, the money spent on the war on drugs could be spent in so many other productive ways. Second, legalizing it will lessen the number of people put in jail for marijuana. There are many people out there who should be in jail. Third, marijuana is not as harmful as alcohol, which causes 50% of traffic accidents. And finally, marijuana should be made available to those who need it, solve medical problems. Looking at the opinions, what is the prevailing tone? Is it positive or negative? The prevailing tone of the opinions is positive. What evidence in the paragraph suggests that? The words productive ways, lessen the number, not as harmful, and solve medical problems all suggest that the prevailing tone of the opinions is positive. Does the author use facts to support his opinions? Definitely, yes. What facts are provided by the author? The facts used by the author are the following. First, marijuana has been proven to be effective in reducing nausea caused by cancer chemotherapy, stimulating appetite in AIDS patients, and lowering intraocular pressure in glaucoma and spasticity in patients with neurological disorders. And last, although there is the synthetic capsule available by prescription, it is not as effective as smoked marijuana. Looking at the facts and opinions, is the author biased? Definitely, yes. What bias is made by the author? The author has bias for legalization of marijuana. And finally, how biased is the author? Less biased or highly biased? The author is less biased. The paragraph is predominantly factual. The author seems to have no hidden agenda other than to persuade lawmakers to legalize the use of marijuana for medical purposes. Evidently, you are now ready to practice the skill in examining bias made by an author. In this activity, you are going to read and examine another sample paragraph by answering the given questions. If you're ready, let's begin. You did a lot of work today. Good job.